Today we're going to be creating artwork that has balance. Balance is one of the elements of art, and there's three main types. There is symmetrical, there is asymmetrical, and there's radial balance. The example I'm going to give you right now is how to make an artwork that has symmetrical balance. The first thing I'm going to do is fold my paper in half, but before I do that, I'm using watercolor paper, and I want you to just check. Watercolor paper tends to have a texture on one side and be really smooth on the other side. It may be hard to tell, but if you can tell, you should be using the textured side. If you can't tell, don't stress about it. So I'm going to take my paper, I'm going to fold it in half. I'm doing it hot dog style. You can fold it in half either way. It does not matter. So I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to start creating a drawing only on one half of the paper. You could have an idea for something in your head that is symmetrical, like you could draw a bug or a butterfly. I'm just going to be doing some lines and shapes, and I'm going to think of this more as a little bit of art therapy and not stress so much. So what I did was I didn't do too many lines, but I did break up most of this side of the page. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loopy lines, and that's going to work. You do want to press pretty hard with your oil pastel to get a nice bold line. Okay, once you have a design just on one half of the page, you're going to fold it in half. And again, you probably can't see this on camera, but I can see through this paper enough to grab something. A marker tends to work really well. In a pinch, you could use a pencil, but it'll make marks on the back of your paper. But the back of a marker or a paintbrush will work really well for this. And what I'm doing is, you can see I'm kind of coloring back and forth, trying to follow those lines. And I'll let you have a peek to see what's happening. Is check it out. The oil pastel is starting to transfer to the other side of the paper. I know I have some work to do in here and still on the top. So I'm going to fold my paper back up and keep going until I get all of those lines transferred. If you really have a hard time seeing through your paper, you could always put this up on a window and shine the light through it, and you'll definitely be able to see your oil pastel lines. All right, so that is enough of a transfer. This side is a lot lighter, so I am going to take a minute now and go in with my oil pastel and finish coloring those lines. Now, I finished tracing, and to me there's some spots that I want to add a little bit more to. So what I am going to do is I'm still only going to draw on one side of the page, and then I'm going to fold it in half and use the back of my marker again to transfer those lines. So that is a symmetrical, just two sides symmetrical. I also want to show you about radial balance. So can you tell the difference between these two? This one is the same on two sides, but this one is the same on four sides. So if you want to try radial balance instead of just symmetrical balance, let me grab another paper. I'm going to take a look because I want the bumpy side of the watercolor paper. All right, and I'm going to fold it in half, hamburger style, and then I'm going to fold it in half again, and this is going to give me 4 corners to work with. You can use your marker if that's what you're using to help you crease those edges. Okay, so when I open it up, now remember the last one I drew only on one side. This time I'm going to draw only in one corner. So I'm feeling like in an abstract art mood today, so I'm not going to worry too much. I do know this is going to be the center, so I did sort of design around the center, but let's see. I'm just going to keep going. Whatever I feel like drawing, some lines, some shapes. All right, so now I'm going to take that design and I'm going to transfer it to this side. Fold my paper over, grab the back of my marker, and start Okay, so I do need to retrace these lines, and I bet you can already imagine what the next step is going to be. All right, so both of those sides are traced. Now I'm going to fold this down. I'm going to rub the whole design and then I'm going to retrace it. So this one has radial balance. It's not perfect radial balance because it's not a circle, but basically all four corners mirror each other. This one has symmetrical balance. Either one of these are going to work for the project that we are doing.